This is my first time to use StreamYard, so I'm just figuring it out as we go. And so I see we've got a couple of people here. I know there's one lady, I don't remember her channel name. So if you could tell me your channel name, that would be great. And we have Judy here from Asian American Legal Focus. So thank you so much for coming, both of you. And maybe we'll have more folks, and you're welcome to ask me questions. So Happy New Year, everybody. And my name is Debbie, and I have a channel called Debbie Esplin. And on this channel, I do fast, easy, healthy, and now budget recipes. And I also do give you information and tips on food, kitchen, and home. And I just wanted to take, 20, 30 minutes to just kind of talk about 2020 a bit and a little bit about myself, give you a chance to learn more about me, and also a little bit about 2021. And I cut my hair today by myself. I've been dreading to do this since the pandemic started. And I did go for a professional haircut in August, but I don't want to go while the numbers are high. And I couldn't stand it anymore, so I cut my hair. I'm not totally happy with it, but it'll grow out. It is what it is, right? So gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. It's better than crying. That's my motto. So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about my YouTube journey very briefly. I uploaded my first video in May 2019, and I've worked in food plants for 17 years. I worked as a production coordinator, or project coordinator, and then I became a QA manager, a quality assurance manager, and then I became a compliance auditor, which meant I traveled to food plants all over around Canada and occasionally also in the United States. Auditing the food plants for compliance to different standards to ensure that the food was safe and of the proper quality and that they met all the regulatory requirements. And in 2019, I decided I wanted to slow down a bit and work closer to home. And so I actually was planning my leaving the food career that I had and that I loved. And I did my last audit in February. And then I was just kind of figuring out exactly what I'm going to do when the pandemic hit. And I decided, well, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. So that's what I did. And it's been a very interesting journey, I have to say. And I totally love it, which surprises me because I wasn't sure I would, but I actually really love it. So in 2020, so the pandemic hits, right? And I haven't yet started my channel because I had some professional commitments to take care of. So I didn't actually start my first video till May. But in the meantime, Monday night band practice, which I play flute in 2 bands, stopped. Wednesday night band practice stopped. Thursday night bagpipe classes stopped. Friday night skating with the family stopped. Swimming 2 or 3 times a week stopped. Going to the gym 2 or 3 times a week with my friends stopped. It just all stopped. And I haven't done, well, in the summer, we played music a little bit together, but I haven't done those other activities at all since March 2020. And that's very hard because they kept me in shape physically. They kept me in shape spiritually and emotionally. And they were really an important part of my life. I'm still playing music, but I have to say, it is very hard to stay motivated to practice your instruments when you don't have something like a group to play with or lessons or something to keep you motivated. But I am participating in some virtual bands with the flute, so that keeps me motivated to practice. But that's definitely, for me, one of the really hard things, and especially because I'm an amateur musician, I'm not a professional. So our groups are shut down. We're not allowed to operate right now in the area where I live. And some of the professional orchestras are still rehearsing and producing music, but not the amateurs like us. So that's definitely one of the hard things. Another one of the hard things is just the death rate with COVID. It's really hard. I've had family who've had it, but luckily in my case, they've all recovered. Although my sister did die of cancer in the summer, and that's been really hard too. But I think, so I really feel for everybody who's lost a family member for any reason, or a friend, or someone who was close to them, this year, and I just want you to know that, my heart is with you. I'm going to start to cry, so I got to change subjects. And also, there's been no birthday parties, and Thanksgiving, we decided to make it a virtual Thanksgiving, and Christmas, we decided to make it virtual, and also New Year's Eve, so, no gathering. We didn't do any of that in our family. We did Zoom, though, and we did, do FaceTime and stuff like that. And we actually had 2 really nice Zooms, one on Christmas Day and one on New Year's Day, with family from all around the world. And one of the amazing things about that is, if it wasn't for the pandemic, we never would have gone to a video chat solution in order to connect. But because we had video chat, I figured, well, let's just invite everybody from around the world who's our family. And that's what we did. And we had an amazing time. And so now we have actually created a new tradition that we're going to carry forward to the future, even if we get together physically with the family that is, local. We'll still have a long distance video chat to include the rest of the family, maybe at the same time or maybe at another time. But so, one of the things that I think it's really important to take out of this pandemic is that there is always a silver lining in every cloud. And I have a motto which says change brings opportunity. And so there is always opportunity in every change, and every problem and every mistake is an opportunity to learn. And so one of the things that I'm really pleased about is that we found this video chat solution, and now we can have Christmas with the big family, not just the little family that lives nearby. So that's one of the good things that I'm going to take out of 2020 and bring forward into the future. And if you haven't looked at any of my videos, if you don't know me that well, then I just finished an ebook on how to survive the pandemic and lockdown isolation, and it includes recipes and tips on how to keep a positive mental outlook, how to keep your spirit healthy, exercise, connecting with nature, and it's free. So I'm going to link when I upload this video to YouTube, I'm going to put a link in the video description where you can go download the free ebook if you want to have 87 tips. There's actually 90, but the title is 87. I threw 3 in at the last minute, so it became 90. But if you want to have a whole bunch of tips to help you with the pandemic and isolation. And one more thing that I'm glad about, and as I get older, I become more and more happy about this. If you'd asked me this question like 30 years ago, I would have said, oh, being an introvert is terrible, because I struggled in my first 20 years in the workplace with, how to function in meetings and how to, I just really struggled with being an introvert. But over time, I developed skills that I needed to, be more assertive in meetings and train people and give lectures and talk in public and do all these things. And that was really useful. But now in the pandemic, also because we are in isolation, I'm finding that being an introvert is actually, I think it's harder on the extroverts, the isolation, than the introverts. And maybe I'm wrong. You can always post a comment if you want to know if you don't agree. But I'm really glad I'm an introvert, because I think I'm finding this isolation less difficult than an extrovert. And I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. So being a YouTuber in 2020, like I had never done video ever. I had done still photography. I knew about lighting. I knew about cameras, but video is like, I might as well just learn how to be an elephant. Like that's how foreign it was. So I had to learn everything. And I knew nothing about YouTube other than watching some videos on YouTube. So it was a big learning curve, but luckily I like to learn and I really enjoyed it. And I'm still learning, but I'm much more comfortable than I was before. And I am so glad that I actually started this channel, because I've learned so much, not just about YouTube and about videos and about search engine optimization and tags and titles and thumbnails and all of that, but actually just the content, all the research I do for my content is really fascinating. And another thing that I haven't told you is, so I started cooking, well, simple things when I was 8 years old, and I've cooked ever since. And when I was a teenager, my mother and I, we would cook a lot together. And she was Polish, so we made all kinds of very complicated Polish things together. And I've got my husband in here. He's distracting me. He's getting a snack. So give me a sec while I collect my thoughts. He's waving hi. One day he will join me on my channel, but he says not yet. No, I'm talking to my audience. So where was I? Yeah, so cooking. So I have cooked all my life. I love cooking. I always wanted to have a restaurant. I always wanted to have a catering service or a bakery. I always wanted to do something with food. In the end, I ended up working in a food plant.
And I like to barbecue.
Oh, yes, my husband just said he likes to barbecue. So we love to have, good food, but I also like to do it. I'm not extravagant, so I like to try to do it on a budget when I can. And I also like it to be fast, easy, and healthy whenever possible. Once in a while, I'll do something really fancy and extravagant, or, and very convoluted, but most of the time I stick with fast, easy, healthy, because I've been working my entire life and going to school at night. Like, there's not a lot of time to be doing very demanding, process-wise demanding recipes. So my life is a small, I have one more thing I wanted to share with you too. So why am I starting to do live streams? This is something else I learned in 2020. Well, I kind of learned it before, but I think 2020 really brought it to the forefront for me. I'm terrified of doing live streams. I am absolutely terrified of it. I'm a nervous wreck. Like, I don't sleep the night before. So last night I didn't sleep. And I may not appear scared, but inside I'm terrified. So I decided that it's really important that we challenge ourselves and that we face our fears or do things that we find more difficult in our life, because that's how we grow. That's how we build confidence. And that's how we expand our horizons as we get out of our comfort zone. So that's why I decided I'm going to do some of my content as live streams, because I need to get past my fear. And also, maybe it's a more interesting way for me to connect with you. And I don't know if you guys have any questions, but please feel free to pop any questions into the chat. And I know we have Judy from Asian American Legal Focus. Please go check out her channel. That's the name of her channel. And we have another lady, and unfortunately, I can't read her channel name, but she does really good videos. She does a cooking channel. So I'm going to put both of their links to their channels into the video chat, into the video description, so you'll be able to find them there. So thank you for coming. I really appreciate your support. So I started May 19th. My first video went up. I had no clue what I was doing other than the content. I was pretty comfortable about that, although I was not comfortable recording it and editing it and all of that. But the rest was a total mystery. And I started learning. So since then, I have done 67 public videos. I've done a few more that aren't public. It was a total of 32 weeks to the end of the year. And I got 116 subscribers. And I want to say I really appreciate everybody who has subscribed to me and who has watched and who has commented and who has liked my videos. Thank you so much. Your support means a lot. And I'm really happy that I made it over 100 before the end of the year. So that was one of my goals. I didn't dare say it out loud, but in the end, it did happen. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm looking forward to 2021. So there's tons of new YouTubers in 2020. And I'll give you some information. And I'm not sharing this because I want to scare you, but just because I think in a way it may scare you, but I think there's hope in the numbers. So let's take a look. Every minute, 500 hours of content is uploaded to YouTube now. That's huge. There's so many people uploading content. That doesn't mean they're all doing it as a business. A lot of people are just doing it for fun or to share with friends, but that's a lot. And there are now more than 37 million channels on YouTube. And YouTube grew by 23% in 2020. The pandemic and a lot of people at home, a lot of people started channels. And apparently there are 38 million channels that have 10 to 100 subscribers. And then there are 8 million that have 100 to 1,000. This is according to Social Blade. Now, I did find another article that had slightly lower numbers. So, we'll kind of maybe fall somewhere in the middle. But still, that's a lot. That's a lot. And there are 15 million creators that upload 80 million videos every day. So there's a lot of competition out there on YouTube. But let's continue. Oh, around the world, people watch 1 billion hours every day. 1 billion hours. So there's a big audience for the content. And one of the other things to remember too is that each of us, we're different, you're unique. So even if I'm doing a cooking channel and somebody else is doing a cooking channel, we're not going to do things the same way. We're not going to do our recipes exactly the same way. Our personalities are different. So if you're a small YouTuber, don't let this stuff scare you. Just remember, you are you. And that's what you need to bring to the screen so that you can eventually find the people that want to connect with you, who you are on the screen. Don't know why the light changed, but anyway, it did. So I think being a YouTuber is a very interesting career choice. It's also a very interesting hobby, and some people may just do it as a hobby, and that's fine. I wouldn't suggest you quit your job until you've got an income stream from somewhere else before. You need to eat and you need to have a roof over your head, but you can always start YouTube part-time and do it that way until you can do it full-time if that's what you want. So that's just some fun information about YouTube, and it's definitely, one opportunity. And one of the things that's really interesting too is it's an equal access opportunity. It's because, all you need is a phone and an internet connection. So, there's very few barriers, which makes it really good for people that may struggle with barriers. So, got to look at the good with the bad. That's one thing I think the pandemic can teach us all. We got to always look for the positive and look for the good, because inside every bad, there's good. And hi, Judy. Hi. I'm glad you're here. And thank you for telling me about, that you're glad to be here. So one more thing, and then we're going to get on to 2021. So like I said earlier, I'm an introvert. And one of the questions I've been wondering is, can introverts succeed on YouTube? Now, there are some pretty big names in YouTube that do like videos to help YouTubers that I watch. And I'm pretty sure they're introverts. I'm not going to say their names because I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. And so I asked the question. I did some research on that today. And actually, the research seems to show that probably more YouTubers are introverts than are not. And you can be, if you are an introvert and if you are shy and afraid of doing a video or doing a live stream, you can do it. You just need to learn the skills of whatever it is you have to do to get yourself prepared to talk in public, and then just do it and just keep doing it. Like when I started my first few videos, I was terrified, and now I'm not. I feel very comfortable in front of the camera. So now that's why, okay, now I'm going to work on my live stream fear, and that will pass. And so if you are an introvert and you say, oh, I don't know if I can do this, if you want to do YouTube, you can. You just have to figure out what scares you the most, what tactics can you use to get past that fear, whether it's organization, whether it's notes. As you can see, I have 3 sheets of paper here so that I don't lose my train of thought, because I will if I don't have my sheets of paper. And yeah, so and read books on public speaking, or read books on how to talk to people, there's a really good book called Quiet, The Power of Introverts, which will really help you understand yourself if you're an introvert. So if you haven't read that book and you struggle sometimes with, oh, why do I have so much trouble functioning in, public environments, or with all these extroverts, or in the business world, or in the YouTube world? Well, read that book. It will really help you understand the strengths that you have as an introvert, and some skills and tactics to get around the challenges it poses. And I see that Judy has left a comment. Yeah, she says, and I know there's a way for me to put the comments on the screen. However, I didn't research that before. So oh, wow, that was easy. All I had to do is touch the comment. So as you can see, Judy says, correct. Don't get caught up in the numbers. As long as you're continuing to grow and enjoy making your content that gives value to viewers, all is well, and eventually more people will join in. And that is totally right on. I agree with you 100% there. So I threw all those numbers out there, but I did it because, I want to say exactly that. Don't focus on the numbers. So if you come across them, don't let them worry you. Just focus on doing the best job that you can about whatever it is. And in my case, food is my passion and kitchen is my passion. And so that's what I'm doing. And it will happen. All right. So now, if there's any questions so far, please go ahead and ask me. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk a little bit about 2021. So I have paid for 2 courses that I haven't yet completed. One is on YouTube and one is on building an internet business, because that's what I'm actually trying to do. I'm not trying to do just YouTube, but also build an internet business. Now, how do I get rid of okay. Here, I'm going to put this other lady who has the cooking channel. I'm going to put her up on the screen. That way you'll see her channel. And thank you so much for coming. She has really nice recipes as well. I've checked them out. I'm subscribed to her, actually, and she has very nice recipes. So my priority for January is to finish those courses, because they will help me, and I have paid for them, and I do want to get all that knowledge under my belt into my toolbox. I like that term, toolbox. And then I want to continue with just my overall goals, which are to develop more recipes that will help people eat, that will help people eat healthy on a budget, that will be easy and fast to prepare. And I'm also working on gluten-free recipes, because I discovered that I'm gluten-free. That I'm gluten intolerant. I discovered that in the fall. And ever since, I wasn't eating a lot of gluten, but I was eating some. And ever since I've completely cut it out, I'm doing a lot better. So I'm converting my recipes to be gluten-free. So I'm going to be also focusing on that in 2021. Here, let's see. Yeah, Judy just told me how to get the comment. Thanks, Judy. I know. I knew this would be a little bit, by the seat of the pants, but I got my notes, so at least the content isn't. So in terms of, recipes, that's my focus. Then I also want to continue with more content around tips and information for food and kitchen, especially and home a little bit. And I plan to do some of that as live streams. I want to do a series of live streams on food, everything to do with food. And I also want to do a series of live streams on working in a food plant. What are the jobs? What are the careers? What is it like? What are the challenges? What are food plants, and how are they the same? How are they different? And so I thought I'd introduce people to that world a little bit, and also for people that are maybe looking at their career path, or they're thinking about working in a food plant. They're not quite sure, what direction they want to take it. So that might help them as well. And and then I want to start preparing a cooking course, and I also want to write a cookbook by the end of 2021. So and then the last thing I want to do is I want to start training for a nutrition certificate. I do have nutrition training because I took a food science certificate, but I don't actually have a full certificate in nutrition. So that's kind of what I would like to do in 2021, and my goal is to continue bringing you value in terms of recipes and information about food, a little bit about food plants, and then adding that nutrition certificate component will then make me a much more able to give you good value in terms of not just food, but also the nutrition aspect around food. So that's really what I wanted to share. And if anybody has any more comments. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love healthy cooking. I've been doing healthy cooking for years. I've always been very health conscious and exercise. I love to exercise. I'm going to take 2 minutes to tell you a few of my favorite hobbies other than music, which you probably figured out already, because if I'm playing in 2 bands and taking bagpipe classes, I'm obviously love to play music instruments. I love to exercise. I love to jog. I love to cross-country ski. I love to skate. I love to swim. I love to hike. I love to kayak. I love to camp. I love being outdoors. I love nature. I love to read. I love to knit. I love to sew. So that's kind of, and I love my family. I love being with my family. So that's kind of just a little bit more about me. Oh, hi, Lily. So we have Lily here now, and Lily also has a cooking channel that's very good. And thanks for coming, Lily. And we also have, I've also got Facebook. Sorry, Facebook people, I haven't been looking at you, but I've got a few people on Facebook, Louise and June and Mary. Thank you so much for showing up. I hope you found this interesting, everybody. And once again, oh, play the bagpipes. Well, okay, so in December, I did 17 videos and I wrote a 60-page ebook. So I haven't practiced for a month any instrument. So it'll be a little while before I play bagpipes on my channel, but when I feel comfortable enough that I'm back into my stamina, I will play something on my channel for you. How's that? Okay? I promise. It'll be in 2020. I'm just not going to promise when. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. Playing music is a lot of fun. Bagpipes are a hard instrument, but what happened? I don't know. Okay. So thanks so much for everybody who came, and thank you so much for everybody who's going to watch this in the future. And you can always post comments and ask me questions. And I look forward to seeing you in my videos in 2021. And I look forward to, finding out more what people would like to have in terms of content from me, and hopefully gaining more subscribers and putting out a lot more good stuff. So thanks a lot, everybody, and Happy New Year, everyone. Please stay safe and please stay well, and Happy New Year also. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. Thank you so much for coming. Bye. Thanks a lot for coming.